So you guys, I know I talked about it in the last video that I wanted to build some shelves, and look, it came to life. It actually happened. And I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Mario for helping me out, because I couldn't have did it without him. These things are over 8 feet tall, and it would have just been too much work trying to do this all by myself and having to carry the shelves. They're pretty heavy. So now I have a way to organize all my stuff. All of this stuff used to just be like thrown over in the corner like in the last video, and now it's just so much nicer. It's just so much neater. I love it. So now I have some extra space there, and also I picked up a power inverter a couple of months back, maybe 2 months ago, and that's good because now I can run lights in here, because the light that's up there right now is motion activated, only stays on for about 2 minutes and it shuts off. And you kind of have to constantly be moving or step away from wherever you are and walk around a little bit just to get the switch to activate. Also too, I want to show you guys, I made a nice little stand, and it serves as a seat too, so you can sit on it and do whatever kind of work you need to do, check whatever. It's comfortable. It's got wheels on it, so it rolls around, and it's also got a compartment at the bottom, so you can put all your tools and stuff like that, whatever you're working with at the time. It was leftover wood, so I figured why not, and I already had the wheels. They've all got a lot of carbon buildup from the engine running rich. Let's see if you guys can see this here. But yeah, you guys can see that they're pretty corroded. I don't remember when I put these spark plugs in, but what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna check the gap on them, see what they were at. They're about 0.045. At least that one is. Let me check the next one. That was cylinder 1. Let's go for cylinder 2. This one is a little shy of 0.045. This one's about the same. And that one's about the same too. So the new plugs that I'm going to put in, I'm going to check the gap on those and adjust them as well. I kind of want them at 0.040, just because the car is at a higher compression. Close that gap off a little bit, that way the car gets a good spark. These are about the same, so I'm just going to try to close the gap. I'm sure that the rest of them are probably going to be about the same as this one. This one is reading, hold on, it's still a little out of focus here. There we go. So I'm going to try to close the gap a little bit, and we'll be right back. Alright, so got these gapped already to where I want them. Just in the camera. Perfect. So guys, another thing I forgot to mention, when you have your spark plugs out, make sure that you get some of this stuff right here, and you're going to want to put it on the threads before you put it down drop it down into the cylinder. That way, you know, it doesn't seize up or anything. Okay. Always use this stuff. Just a little bit goes a long way. Spread it with your finger. That way, when you got to change your spark plugs, you're not having a hard time with it. So I'll just demonstrate real fast how much I use. I'm just opening. Okay. Yeah. Oop, I want to get it on there. Okay. I just put a little bit like that on there, and then I just smear it with my finger. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because once you start threading this down, it's gonna actually spread itself the rest of the way. So you don't have to go all crazy trying to make sure every little groove has some in it. Order of the B series, D series, and the H series. Firing order, whenever you're taking your wires off to do your spark plugs, so that way you don't forget and you get confused on which wire goes where when you're putting it back, because some of these wires can be really long, you know, from like the AutoZone and stuff. So your firing order on your distributor is going to be 1, cylinder 1, cylinder 3, cylinder 4, and cylinder 2. So 1, 3, 4, 2. So it just goes just like this. 1, 3, 4, 2. Clockwise, this way. This is always going to be cylinder number 1, because this is the front of the engine. This is where your cam gears are. This is where all the belts are really driven. This is the front, so this is going to be cylinder 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Let's pop these out. Right, and you just take your spark plug. This is a NGK. Just drop it down in there. If you don't have a spark plug puller, you can use a 5/8 socket. This is a spark plug puller, but it doesn't have the it doesn't have any rubber in there or any plastic or even a magnet to grip the spark plug to extract it. So you can just use a regular socket, a deep socket, and you know, you just break the spark plug loose, and then to get it out, because this isn't going to grab it out, just use a magnet. You know, just take the magnet and just go pull it right on out. See? I've also took paper, like a receipt from a store or something, and if you fold it up and then put it in a spiral and stick it down in here, that usually will create enough tension to grip on that spark plug, and you can pull it out that way. So just a little tip for you guys. So before you grab this guy and your spark plug puller, what you want to do before you start cranking it down is just put the spark plug pull over and then just turn it by hand just to get the thread seated, the spark plug seated correctly. That way you don't cross thread anything. And then just spin it until, I do it until it's tight or hand tight. That one's done. And then just do the rest of them. Otherwise, if you cross thread it, you're in for a freaking nightmare. You have to take the head off. You have to take the machine shop and have them put the helicoils in it, you know, to like re-thread it. That's what happened with this head. I bought this from some guy north, a couple of hours north, and he had it in his garage, and he was just like, his garage was dimly lit, and he was just like, hey, you know, go check it out. And he took off on his ATVs, and I didn't have a flashlight or anything, and I just looked over the head and, you know, looking for cracks and stuff. Checked the head to make sure it wasn't warped. Everything seemed fine. You know, the last thing you would think to check is the freaking spark plug holes. And I didn't check it. And then later on, when I bought it and got home, I looked at it thoroughly, and then I seen that 2 of the cylinders were stripped out. So I had to take it to a machine shop, and I had to have that guy do his thing on it. And ever since then, it's been good. So I've had this head since 2012, and it didn't get onto a car until I think I had a head early 2011. No, sometime in 2011, and then it made its way on my Integra, I think 2012. So anyway, everything's hand tight. Now we can snap it on the ratchet and go on ahead and start tightening everything up. Now you want to do it till it's just snug. You can use a torque wrench on this as well. I'm pretty sure the torque specs are like 25 foot-pounds or 30 foot-pounds. Don't quote me on that, go check. but just get it till it's nice and snug. You don't want these guys loose. That's nice and tight. But I'll check it anyways after I'm done. Cylinder 1, 3, 4, and 2. At this point, I'm just going to put my my spark plug wire cover back on. Let's take these off. Perfect. Now all we gotta do is try to start the car, make sure it runs, and go from there. If I'm having battery problems, I'm only gonna turn the fuel on, and then if the car starts, I'll turn on the tap. Alright, so I cut the car off because there's a lot of fumes coming from that, and I'm not trying to die up in here. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Just going to disconnect all my stuff here and call it a day.